ready? I'm ready. Okay. Isn't it just amazing to think that just over 2 centuries ago in this area of the Western White Mountains, not too many settlements at all. Peeling, slowly but surely started to be settled, and the Thornton Gore, a few farms, few small mills in the early 19th century. But of course, as the 19th century went on, the Industrial Revolution really was taking momentum. Cities needed raw material, populations were growing, and a lot of that raw material coming out of the White Mountains and other areas of the United States, transportation needed to be changed. And that transportation, what was the game changer? The railroad. So as the railroad, the Boston, Montreal, and Concord Railroad made its way up to Plymouth and eventually was in this region. But it wasn't just finished material and raw material that's being taken south or north, however you're looking at it. People got to move, and a lot of people. People actually got to come to the White Mountains and visit. And you had vacationers. It wasn't just for the ultra-rich, so to say, but pretty much a day journey from Boston and you could be here. And that is where I come from, where I come in. I am Stephen Sharon, and I built one of the first boarding houses in the Western White Mountains. It was just up at the intersection here in North Woodstock on the southwest corner at the height of land. You had beautiful views of Flume and Liberty, and that is where I lost my train of thought. So how did I get here? Born April 14th, 1843. My sister got married and moved up here with her husband. I just followed soon afterwards. And then while I was here, when I was 21, I joined the 18th Regiment for New Hampshire during the American Civil War. Didn't see any combat, and thankfully came back up here. And then I met my future wife, Abigail Russell. She was the daughter of George and Sally Russell. And then 4 years later, we married in 1858. 1859, we had our first daughter, Florence, and then we had our son, William, and then we had Lizzie, and then Lily. We operated the Mountain View with enough room to have 50 guests stay every summer. And that is the way that ran for a while, and it was just the beginning of the hospitality industry in the Western White Mountains, where you had timber, obviously, as mentioned before with J.E. Henry, that industry was really taking off, but then you had so many other homes. And running the Mountain View House was in our blood, and it really was. As in Abigail's family, you had 2 of her brothers helped run 2 other boarding houses, and then eventually our son William was actually one of the proprietors of the Deer Park Hotel as well. And as we did, as I said, it was basically, really in the family. It really was. As our youngest daughter, Lily, this is where she got married, was the Mountain View House. And it was on Thanksgiving Day in 1897. It was a Thanksgiving Day wedding. 2 p.m. we had dinner, and at 8 p.m. is when her uncle married her. But unfortunately, when she and her husband left to go live in Everett, Massachusetts, she passed away that next February. And she is now buried right here next to her mother. But life obviously went on, and we still lived and took care of the Mountain View House until my death in 1912. And that is my part.
And how you are related?
I am not